Middle class. We are the Democratic Party. It is our policies and our leaders that built the middle class of this great country. And it rises to our party to once again save the middle class, as it is under more strain than at any time in 100 years. If you study our history, you know that there was a great progressive movement in the late 19th century and early 20th century, which really didn't come into its own until FDR and the New Deal. We now have to not only save the New Deal, and with the Tea Party running the Congress, Hillary Clinton can at least save the New Deal from being destroyed, as Republicans always have tried to destroy it. But we also have to come up with new ideas for a new time. And think about innovation in public policy to build a new middle class for a new economy. And just like late 19th century and early 20th century, we can't wait for Washington to solve our problems. We, at the local level, at state and city level, are going to have to build and experiment and try all of these new ways to build a more progressive middle class. And so we in Cincinnati are taking that to heart. And I'm proud to say that over the last couple of years, we have enacted a whole series of ideas to help expand and build the middle class in Cincinnati and to stand up for our values. First, we passed, right after my good friend Nan Whaley, the mayor of Dayton, passed a great parental leave for all city workers to be able to spend time when they have a child. We, for the first time in Cincinnati's history, stood up for human rights and have the highest 100% rating on the Human Rights Campaign for the entire city of Cincinnati. First time ever that the city of Cincinnati has earned that distinction, and we've earned it several years in a row. Thank you. We have disparities that we want to be honest about among the health and wealth outcomes of our white and black citizens and our Hispanic citizens. So we created the first ever Office of Economic Inclusion, and we have an explicit quotient study so we can ensure that women and African American businesses are guaranteed the contracts that come out of City Hall, which is millions upon millions of dollars a year. We are launching an effort, the Hand Up initiative, to put people back to work, and have tripled the money we put in human services to help people trying to get back into the workforce get the help they need, the job training they need to fight and reduce poverty. And our efforts are on track to reduce the poverty rate by 5% within a couple of years. In fact, we recently got the business community to work with us on a child poverty collaborative to try to take some of our ideas on a bigger level to reduce the poverty rate by 20% within our county. And we are about to put to the voters a local expansion of investment in early childhood education and preschool, if the voters approve it in November. So we are doing at the local level the things that we need to do at a national level and at a state level, but we're not waiting. And we're very proud of the progressive legislation that the city has put together. In fact, just this year, with our friends from Labor, we introduced legislation to create a $15 minimum wage for all city workers, and anyone who does contracts with the city of Cincinnati has to pay a living wage. But we also passed the first of its kind, the only local prevailing wage law in the state of Ohio. What does that mean? Well, we know that under state law, if you get tax dollars into a project, you're supposed to pay prevailing wages, which are not just a living wage, but a middle-class wage. Right? Remember, living wage is getting people just above poverty, which is a good start, but not where we want to end up. Prevailing wages are middle-class wages. And as we build projects with your tax dollars, we need to make sure that we have middle-class wages. Well, a lot of businesses and governments around the state of Ohio have figured out a lot of ways to avoid prevailing wage. And so we need local help. And so we passed the local prevailing wage law, which will make sure that more projects that get done for the public good pay middle-class wages. Lastly, I'd say that we got to think about, out of the box, about a new agenda at the local local and the state level to think about the new economy. And let me just mention a few issues and then I'll stop. With the disparity of the rich and the poor, which is at greatest levels in 100 years, we got to think about the new economy. Most people now work several jobs, 2, 3, 4 jobs, some at the same time. We have to, just like 100 years ago, they invented unemployment insurance and workers' compensation, all these things that came out of the great Democratic Party. We need to think about building an economy that has portable retirement benefits, no matter how many jobs you work, that you take with you as you go from job to job. That's going to take innovative thinking and outside-the-box approach, but it's going to be critical to sustaining and building a middle class. We need a state that's going to invest in public transportation, where our state is one of the lowest investments in public transportation anywhere in the country. And as we do that, we got to think about how we're going to incorporate Uber and Lyft and all of this ride sharing to make sure we get people to and from their jobs. And we've got to invest in education. We're trying to pass early childhood education at the local level, but 20 years ago, the Supreme Court of Ohio said that our school system in Ohio was fundamentally unfair and unjust, and it still is. And we need state policies that will equalize opportunity for all of our kids. So Cincinnati is leading. Obviously, I believe it's the greatest city in the world. But it's also living up to the values of our great party by expanding the middle class, working to put people back to work. And we hope that that example can inspire other local cities in Ohio and the state. And by building people up, we can elect Hillary Clinton and build a better country. Thank you very much.